Hello, friends. We're going to do a brief grounding exercise today, and I'm going to invite us to really keep the head above the heart. This can be a good place to start if you have hypertension or concerns about blood pressure but are wanting to explore a couple yoga poses. We'll do some modifications and variations of some common poses while keeping the head above the heart. But I'm also going to invite us to kind of do that in an embodied way. So if you are looking for a practice where you can kind of keep your head steady in the midst of maybe a lot of emotion, keep your head on your shoulders in the midst of a challenging situation, this practice can also be one that feels hopefully very grounding, centering, and still strong without needing to practice any kind of inversion, anything where we're tipping ourselves upside down, avoiding that. And that can feel like an empowering practice, especially in times of our lives where things do feel a little tipped over. So we're going to start here, seated. I just have my notes to the side, don't mind me. And I invite you to place your hands either to your legs or your belly, or maybe like a bit of both. You can also bring a hand to your chest, but again, we're keeping everything stacked and elevated. So if it feels good to bring a hand to your head and heart, you may. But find some way that you can begin to check in with your breath, begin to notice your breath. As you notice your breath, I'm going to invite you to notice how long it takes you to inhale, approximately, and how long it takes you to exhale, approximately. And as you make those observations, then the next step is to inhale just like you are, but to exhale really slowly and deliberately in such a way that your exhales are about double as long as your inhale breaths. If it is easier for you to find kind of a slow controlled exhale through the mouth instead of through the nose, that's totally fine. What's more important here, what we're focusing on here rather, is the rhythm. Like a nice big inhale and then a double as long exhale. And we'll explore this grounding breath for another 3 to 4 rounds. As you find this breath, I invite you on your next inhale to sweep arms up and overhead, using that slow exhale to bring hands down through the center line of the body. If it feels authentic for you to pause for a moment with hands in prayer or with hands towards that heart or even towards your head, you may certainly do that with your exhales. Again, we'll explore like another 3 to 4 rounds together, just beginning to move with this breath. One more. We'll land with hands near the heart or near the center of the body. Our pose here is going to be a tree pose, which I invite you to take seated today if you'd like. I will encourage you to scoot towards the edge of your seat or the edge of your chair if that's a possibility. We're going to kickstand. We're going to move that right knee out into the side, placing right heel against or towards the standing heel. You are more than welcome to remain seated here, focusing on that long spine, focusing on elevating the head up above the heart, maybe focusing, if it feels authentic to you, on a bit of that balance between your head space and your heart space. If you want to take this pose standing, you may. Feel free to keep one hand towards your heart versus one hand towards the wall or towards the back of your chair if that's what you have handy. We'll take 2 more breaths here. If possible, continue to kind of lengthen the exhales and keep your inhales succinct and rhythmic. When your body is ready to, I invite you to switch sides. So again, you can do this standing with or without some kind of support. We're focusing on opening up through the hip. Left toes down towards the ground, left heel really pressing in towards that strong right leg. And reminder that you can do this seated also. Whatever feels sturdy to you and your practice. Now we dove right into balance. When your breath is ready to, go ahead and release that pose and take a moment to stand, even if you are seated on a chair. If that is the case, I will invite you to bring your chair up against a wall. You can do it with the back of the chair towards the wall or not, and I'll show why you may want it either way. But again, moving into a bit of a strength flow, so we are embodying a bit of strength, a bit of that stability and balance in the body. You can use your hands towards the back of the chair or the wall to take a downward facing dog. Depending on your chair, you may be able to rest your forehead towards the back of your chair. The back of my chair curves, so that's not quite the best option for me. But again, what we want to avoid is head sinking down below the heart. So we're taking a down dog, we're lengthening through the spine and through the backs of the legs, but we're also keeping the head lifted. As you're ready to here, take an inhale, walk your feet in a smidge, and lean in towards your thumbs. Again, you can do this with your chair either way, and it may help to have something kind of help catch your hips as you lean in. When you're ready to really elevate the head, take a nice heady inhale, lifting the forehead up, squeezing through the backside in order to propel the front of the body forward slightly for a cobra pose. We'll do this flow a couple times. When you're ready to exhale, tuck the chin in, press back, maybe walk the feet back. If it's in your practice to do so, or if it's available to you, you can rest your head towards your chair or towards a block or even a stack of books on your chair, whatever you have handy. Take a big inhale, lengthen the spine, maybe step the feet in. Exhale. Big inhale, lift the head up, hips rock forward, squeeze through the backside, helping ensure some stability through the low back. And then rock back. I invite you another 3 to 4 rounds with your own breath here. As we continue through another round or two, know that as we come into that cobra pose, we aren't wanting to overextend through the throat. So as you kind of take one of those heady inhales and lift the head up, if it ever feels really, really tight in the throat, that might be a sign that you're kind of pushing that part of the movement a smidge too far. finish out our round in that downward facing dog. I invite you to walk the dog, lifting one heel away from the floor at a time, really lengthening through the back of the leg of whichever heel is down. Feel free to press back a little bit, into the back of your knee or into that heel against the floor. And then when you're ready to pull away from the wall, do so gently and give your arms a shake. Ooh, they've done a lot of work there, a lot of stability. And then remaining standing, I will invite us to come back to a couple really full breaths. Maybe hands, after they've shaken out, come back to the legs, to the belly, or to the heart. Maybe it feels authentic for you to take a big inhale and then to drop hands back down and in. If balance is a concern or it feels non-meditative to remain standing, feel free to sit back down, but I will invite you to end standing. Take a moment to notice what has shifted, what in the body feels warm. Notice the engagement in your core, the length in your spine, maybe a little more openness in your hips and low back. And if you'd like, take a moment here, take a breath here to thank yourself for this practice, for exploring a couple poses, and for taking the time to breathe today. I thank you also. Namaste.